You think you're weak? You think they're laughing at you? They've been watching. They've been waiting for you to break. They saw your weakness, your hesitation, your doubts, and they thought they could use it to destroy you. They thought you'd crumble under the pressure. They thought you'd stay in your cage. They thought wrong. Because right now, you're not the victim anymore. You're not the one who gets pushed around. You're not the one who hides in the shadows. You're the predator. The world is about to find out what happens when someone like you stops being afraid. They will fear you. They will tremble. Every ounce of weakness that ever lived inside you, it's gone. Burned away in the fire of your transformation. The victim you were, gone. The nightmares they had of seeing you broken, those are the ones who should be afraid. They don't know what you're about to become. No more hiding. No more making excuses. No more pretending like you don't have what it takes. The time for regret is over. The time for excuses is over. They thought you'd never fight back, but here you are, standing on the edge of your transformation. You are the one who gets to decide now. And when this is over, they won't see you as the one they could use anymore. They won't see you as the weak link. They'll see you as the force they never wanted to face. This is war. You've just stepped onto the battlefield. And when it's all over, you won't be the one left broken. You'll be the one who destroys everything in your path. You were their target. Now, you're their worst nightmare. You've been living in a lie. You think you're special. You think you're the exception. You're not. Your weakness is not some minor flaw. It's the anchor that's been dragging you down your entire life. Every time you failed, every time you quit, every time you let fear rule you, it wasn't the world doing it to you. It was you. It's your own weakness that's been holding you back. And it's time to face that truth. The world doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't care about how hard your life has been. It doesn't care how many obstacles you've had to overcome. It cares about results. And right now, you've been failing. Stop pretending like your failure is anyone's fault but yours. It's time to stop blaming the world, blaming your circumstances, blaming anyone but yourself. You are the one who's allowed yourself to stay stuck. You are the one who's let fear paralyze you. You are the one who's been feeding the lies to yourself. You keep telling yourself you'll get there one day, but that day will never come unless you do something about it now. The clock is ticking, and you've wasted enough time. There's no magical moment when things will just fall into place. You have to make them fall into place, and that means looking yourself in the mirror and admitting that you've been weak. You've let your fear and doubt rule you, and you've let your excuses rob you of your power. But here's the thing, you don't have to stay that way. You're not stuck, you're not helpless. You can break free. But it's going to take a hell of a lot more than just hoping for change. It's going to take you stepping up, taking full responsibility for the person you've become, and demanding more from yourself. You've been living soft for far too long, but that ends now. You've been playing the victim, but the world isn't here to pity you. It's here to test you. And if you can't rise to the challenge, you'll be crushed under the weight of your own weakness. The truth is simple. You either face this, or you keep failing. And trust me, failure isn't something you can hide from forever. This is it. The moment where everything changes. You've been living in denial long enough. You've been lying to yourself, pretending that your weakness doesn't matter, convincing yourself that you can take your time, but you can't. Not anymore. You're standing at the edge of the abyss, and the only way out is to confront your greatest enemy, yourself. For so long, you've allowed your failures to define you. You've let your fear whisper that you're not strong enough, that you're not capable, that you'll never make it. But here's the truth. Your weakness isn't your identity. It's just the result of years of bad decisions, of cowering in the face of adversity. You built this. You allowed it to grow. And now, it's time to tear it down, piece by piece. You're not going to be the person who just keeps making excuses. You're not going to be the one who sits in their comfort zone, waiting for the world to change. No, you're going to take control. You're going to rip out the root of your weakness and plant the seeds of strength in its place. But here's the catch. There's no shortcut, no quick fix. The transformation isn't going to be easy. It's going to hurt. You're going to suffer. You're going to want to quit, but you can't. You won't. There is no room for weakness in the world you're stepping into. You've been coddling your failures, but no one is going to hold your hand anymore. It's time to grow up, face reality, and accept that the only way out of this mess is to rise above it. You're not a victim, you're a fighter. You're not here to survive, you're here to conquer. The person who's been holding you back isn't the world, it's been you. But that ends now. You want to be strong, you want to be unstoppable, then embrace the pain. Embrace the struggle, because it's the only way to burn away the weakness and step into the warrior you were meant to be. You either step into your power now, or you stay stuck in the same hell you've been in your whole life. The choice is yours. Make it count. You've been broken, bent, and pushed to the edge. But here's where the truth sets in. You are not defeated. You are being forged. The pain, the struggle, the relentless force pushing against you, it's all part of the process. This is where your true power is born. It's not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning how to walk through it like it's nothing. You think you can't handle it? Think again. You've already handled worse. You've survived more than you give yourself credit for. The difference now is that you are no longer running from it. You're leaning into it. You've faced the choice. Break or become something unbreakable. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving in chaos. Every ounce of pain you endure, every moment of struggle you face, only adds to the weapon you're becoming. What you don't understand yet is this. You're not the one who's supposed to be afraid anymore. The world should be afraid of you. They should be trembling at the thought of facing someone who's willing to go through hell to achieve greatness. Your strength isn't measured by what you've already conquered. It's measured by how much more you're willing to endure. And right now, you're preparing to conquer everything. You've gone through the worst of it. You've felt the sting of failure, the weight of defeat, the crushing feeling of not being enough. But now, you walk through that same darkness like it's a playground. You've built yourself into a weapon, and no force, no challenge, no obstacle will ever be able to stop you again. The power you've been searching for, it's already inside you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to wake up and realize you were always meant to be a force to be reckoned with. Now, you're not just walking into your future, you're charging in, prepared for anything. You are unstoppable. You are a force of nature. The question is no longer whether you will break. The question is who will survive in your wake. You've crossed the point of no return. This is where the weak will fall and the strong will rise. You've done the work. You've faced the fire. You've embraced the suffering, and you've come out the other side stronger than you ever imagined. But here's where the true test begins. You've learned to fight. But now you must learn to dominate. It's not enough to survive this world. You have to shape it. You've forged yourself into an unbreakable weapon. And now, it's time to wield that power with ruthless precision. You have to understand this. The world does not care about your struggles. It doesn't care how much you've suffered. It doesn't care about your history or your pain. All that matters is what you do with the strength you've earned. You've been given a gift, an unrelenting will, a mind that doesn't quit, and the power to crush any obstacle in your way. But don't mistake this for a free pass. This is where the real battle begins. Now, the question isn't whether you can handle the pain. The question is, how far will you go to take what's yours? This is your moment. The moment when everything changes. You're not the person you were yesterday. You're not the weakling who used to shy away from the fight. You're the storm. You're the one everyone fears, the one who walks into battle with no hesitation, no fear, and no doubt. They're already running. Your weaknesses, they've been destroyed in the fires of your transformation. But this is the moment where you prove to the world that you are more than just talk. You are action. You are unstoppable. You don't just show up, you take over. You don't wait for victory. You make it happen. This is your battlefield. This is your time to rule. And if anyone doubts that you can't conquer it all, let them. Because nothing and no one will ever break you again. You've already decided the outcome. There's no turning back. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, and you're not here for soft victories. This is about breaking through every barrier that has ever held you down, and then crushing anything that dares stand in your way. There are no comfort zones left for you. There is only the relentless pursuit of power, strength, and dominance. You've built a foundation so solid that nothing can shake it. No one can stop you, because the only person capable of holding you back is you, and you've already defeated that version of yourself. Let's be clear. It's time to stop pretending that things will fall into place on their own. It's time to stop waiting for the world to hand you what you deserve. The universe doesn't care. If you want it, you take it. You don't wait for permission. You don't ask for a seat at the table. You build your own table. You don't give people the chance to underestimate you anymore. Every move you make is deliberate. Every decision you make is a calculated strike. This is war, and you are not just participating, you are leading it. You have come so far, and yet this is just the beginning. The battle is never over. It's a war of attrition, a test of endurance. But you don't flinch, you don't hesitate. You keep pushing forward, because you know that your next step is always your most dangerous one. You don't need anyone to validate you. You don't need anyone's approval. You're not here to fit into their world. You're here to create your own. The world is your battlefield now, and as you stand at the peak of this transformation, know this: you've already won. You've taken the greatest enemy you could ever face and turned it into your weapon. You are now the unstoppable force you've always dreamed of becoming. The choice is simple. Keep moving forward, or let the world crush you under the weight of its expectations. But you don't even consider stopping, because quitting isn't in your DNA, and you are far too dangerous to ever go back. There's no comforting ending here. No soft words, no false hope. This is the final choice. Rise or stay buried in the dirt. There are no second chances. No one is going to hand you anything. You've pushed yourself to the limit, and now you must decide. You are standing at the edge of your future, and the only way forward is to face the truth. Everything you've built, every ounce of strength you've gained, will either make you unstoppable or leave you crumbling in your own weakness. This is the reality. There's no turning back. You either break through the chains that have held you down, or you let them drag you back into the pit of mediocrity. The world isn't going to wait for you. It's moving forward, with or without you. And if you stand still, if you allow yourself to hesitate, the world will swallow you whole. The fight doesn't get easier, it gets harder. It gets more brutal. It tests everything you've got. But you're not afraid anymore. You've already stepped into the fire and come out stronger. This is the final test of your will, and this time there is no retreat. The weak will fall off the edge, lost to their own excuses, but not you. You don't have the luxury of surrender. You are the storm now. You are the force that's impossible to ignore. Every ounce of fear, doubt, and hesitation you ever had, gone. What stands before you now is not a wall, but an opportunity to claim your place in a world that doesn't have room for anyone who won't fight for it. So, will you rise? Will you face the brutal reality of your own potential? Or will you stay buried under the weight of your past failures, afraid of what's to come? The choice is yours. But remember this, you've already crossed the point of no return, and there is no going back.